Hello. Trying to let you guys see my flowers first. But hello, my name is Dorothy Wellington, and I'm so happy to be back with you today. And I talked to you guys last week about talking like God. And I'm serious about those words, that we can actually talk like God. And I've been teaching for a number of years and been working the last 9 years with my poor and homeless outreach. And I've been teaching them the same thing. How can I say that? Because we're powerful individuals. That's the way God created us to be strong and powerful, just like the spirit that he dwells within us. And it came with first man and first woman, with Adam and Eve. And I say, talk like God, act like God, do the things that God would do here. And I could say the same thing. I could tell you, talk like Jesus, do the things that Jesus do. And I got a little Bible verse I want to read to you that kind of backs up what Jesus was like when he was here. This is what he said. He said in John chapter 5, beginning at verse 19, he says, Jesus gave them this answer. I tell you the truth. The Son can do nothing by himself. He can do only what he sees his Father doing, because whatever the Father does, the Son also does. For the Father loves the Son and shows him all he does. And that's the way God lives within each one of us. And when God is ministering and telling you something in your heart, something, you might see a Bible verse and say, you know what? I just feel strongly about that verse. Well, that's God talking to you. And that's something you can really chew on. I have a teaching that I do the first Saturday of each month, except for Mother's Day in May. It's going to be May the 14th. And the Just God Academy, they had an affirmation and that they're supposed to be learning and memorizing. And I'm very simple, and I don't like very long, complicated things. So I always say my little books are small, but yet they're very powerful because they were always inspired by God. But on my website, you'll see a link to the 9 books that I've written. But this one here, this is an affirmation. And I say this because of who we are in God. That we can say every day, I surrender to God and difficult circumstances. I don't that sound better than worrying every day and saying, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do that. But you can say, I surrender all difficult circumstances. Anything that comes up in my life, get in the habit of immediately surrendering them over to God. Because if you don't, you're going to have stomach issues, you're going to have headaches, you're going to have pains in your body, you're going to have all kinds of things that come up. Depression, anxiety, all that kind of stuff. When we don't learn how to surrender all difficult circumstances over to God. And I, on my website, I talk a lot about God's laws and principles, because the more you know about something, the smarter you are. The more you know about something, the wiser you are. So if I tell you God will supply all of your needs, well, it's a good thing to learn a little bit more about this source is behind all of your needs being supplied. And so at the Just God Academy, you're going to be learning more about God's laws and his principles so they can work in your life. How did we get started with all of this power? And how do we get started with all this authority? Well, it's when God created first man, Adam, and first woman, Eve. And this is one, if I could build my life up on anything, it would be Genesis 1:26. So that's where my life is, because if I had to depend on myself or the natural circumstances that we have every day, whether it's a job or whether I'm trying to get people to give donations to our charity, no matter what it is, I would be a wimp. I wouldn't be able to do anything. But anyway, here we go. In Genesis 1:26, it says, Then God said, let us make man or mankind in our image. Let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. Well, most of us today, we're not involved in livestock, unless you're in farming or raising your own garden. So that rule and that authority has to do with anything that concerns you, your house, your job, your employer, your city in which you live, anything that involves you. That's your world, that's your earth. And God said, I've given you power to rule and have authority in your life. But sometimes the trials and tribulations and losses that we have in our life, we don't feel very strong. That's when you have to pull out of your spirit and remind yourself. And I really do believe life is a daily walk. It's not 100-yard dash. No, no, no. You know, I said, well, let me just see how old the earth is. And there's all kind of discussions about that. So one, religious or Christianity says that the earth is 6,000 years old. But science said it's at least 4.5 billion years old. Which one is right? I think both of them are right. 6,000 years, because that's the way Christianity had looked at dates and people, how longevity of life and events and things, and what they came up with. So that's okay. I love studying the past 6,000 years. But I love science too. And God is the scientist over everybody. So if they say it's 4.5 billion years, I believe that too. God is in all the sciences. He's in all the medical industries. He's in anything that concerns us. God is the head or the author of it all. And I love science. I love physics. I love quantum physics, because I think that's really examining the invisible world. Because anything you talk about physics or quantum physics, you can't even see it with the natural eye. It's motion, it's energy, and things like that. But God is the author of it all. So in the very beginning, he looked at the clay of our bodies and he said, nope, that's not good enough. Earth, clay, dirt, water is not good enough. I'm going to breathe my spirit in you. And if I put my spirit in you, that comes with power, authority, rule, not weakness. And he demonstrated that in the very beginning when he started creation. Like I said, it could have been a literal six days of creation. It could have been thousands. It could have been billion years in creation. But according to the Bible, they give it to us in days. So I just say in the sixth day he created man, and then woman soon followed. But he said, now when I put my breath in you, when I breathe my spirit in you, then you became a living being. So if you're out there, if you've never accepted Christ, you've never turned your life over to God, that's one way of doing it. It's like it quickens life. God's spirit has always been there, but it's been dormant. But when you turn your life over to him, you accept Christ, then it's like, wow, that spirit and that fellowship comes alive. It comes alive. And so that's how I can teach what I teach and do the things that I do, and having worked and ministered to others and prayed for people who are sick and still have hope. Pray for those who have losses and still believe that God can still touch and encourage them. People who are starting ministries or starting new businesses, I can pray for them in faith and in truth, because behind me is God. It's God, his spirit. So he made us very powerful people. And what else did I have I wanted to share with you today? There's another verse that I want to give to you, if I didn't already. 1 Peter 5:7. And it says this way. Do you know we're not supposed to worry? When I was probably about 20, I'd been through an awful lot. I'm a domestic violence survivor. And my first husband, had been in Vietnam for a year. And when he came out, we immediately got married, because we was engaged through that year, so we immediately got married. But it didn't, he wasn't normal. And now we call it PTSD. And back in Vietnam years, it really wasn't very much. And I've had a very, very difficult time. And so in my second pregnancy with him, and after I was separated from doing the second baby that I'd had, And I went to the doctor after Adam was born, and my stomach, oh, it was like a fire. It was like pain. I couldn't understand what was going on. He said, you can develop an ulcer. I said, well, where did that come from? He said, because you're a worry wart. And I said, I'm not a worry wart. He said, yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. And I said, okay, doctor. I got things I need to take care of. I have a daughter that's 4 years old. I have a newborn baby. I got bills. I have no child support. I have things to do. And at that particular time, I remember Christmas was right around the corner. And I said, I got to get these kids some things for Christmas. And he said, I can understand that, but you're still worrying too much, and you actually made a sore inside your stomach. So, what was I, 24? So, I have a history of overcoming being a worrywart. And so, when I learned more about God, I came from a Christian family, raised up from good parents, brothers and sisters, but I still was a worrywart. The more I learned about faith, I got better and better. The more I learned about God, I got better and better. But it's been a struggle. That's why I boldly can tell people, do not worry. Do not worry. And here's a good verse, 5:7. It's written this way. Cast all your anxiety and your cares on him because he cares or he loves you. That's not, well, I'm going to give this situation over to God and I'm going to take care of this myself. No, he says all, A-L-L, any worries, any anxieties, any depressions. He said cast them all upon him because his shoulders is really just that big. If you cast all of your worries over on him. And I do it on a daily basis. I pray every day for everyone that follows me, everyone that's a part of my ministry in any way, all the supporters that financially give. I pray for everybody every day. I pray for myself and my kid. Why? Because Dorothy cannot do any of it on her own. I can't always keep my little grandkids protected, but the angels can. So I'm not with my kids and my family 24/7, but God is. And so that's why I love having a daily relationship with God and fellowship with him every day. Because anything that I'm concerned about, I just roll it over in prayer. And then you can live happy in peace, love, and joy. Yes. When I was ministering to those that were poor and homeless out in the street and on the park, I would tell them every day, in spite of their circumstances, they can still live in peace, love, and joy. It's a daily walk, learning more about how God's laws and principles apply to your life. And that's the love of my life. That's why I'm here. I want to invite those of you that are around the Phoenix area, even if you're passing through, going into another state, on May the 14th, and we're not going to be there the first Saturday because it's Mother's Day weekend, but on May the 14th at Denny's Restaurant, I will be there in the banquet room, and I will be teaching from our Just God Academy. It's a class. If you can't afford your meal, I believe God every month that we have funds to pay for your meal. So never, never stay away from anything that I do because you don't have money. God wouldn't want that. He would not want that. So any way I can help you, let me know. But it's May the 14th from 10:30 to 12:30, Denny's Restaurant, 5161 West Thunderbird Road in Glendale. Very easy, big intersection right there. But my website, please go on that and look at all the other things that we've done and are currently doing. But that would be www.DorothyWellingtonMinistries.com, DorothyWellingtonMinistries.com. And I will be on Periscope every week, and I'm loving it because I believe when I do share something, it's helping you or it's helping someone else out there. So until next week, I say God bless you, and remember, live one day at a time, but in the power of who God created you to be since the very beginning. And that power did not diminish itself from Adam and Eve to who you are today, right there in your home, your car, or whatever you're doing. You're still a very powerful individual because you belong to God. God bless you.